Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Christine, and it has been a minute, I think a whole month of a minute since I've been here on YouTube. I think my last video was right before I was leaving for the Pacific Northwest, where I spent 2 weeks with my parents, which was so amazing. But it's taken me just a little bit of time to kind of get back in the swing of things here in Spain. And so I have been doing a little bit of sewing, but I kind of feel like I'm getting back in the creative groove, and I have a couple things that I'm really excited to share with you today. So two things I want to share today are I want to share a little bit about collars, because I've been really inspired with different collars lately. So I thought maybe I would share the inspiration. And then I filled my luggage, literally filled my luggage with vintage quilts, and among other things that I brought home from my parents' house. So I've got a bunch of three actually vintage quilts that I want to show you, as well as one quilt that I actually made while I was with my mom in Seattle. So first, let's start with collars, because it's kind of a fun little thing. So this is my Rivington t-shirt, and I made this I think last week, and I was kind of playing around with fabric, and I had actually got this collar as well in an antique store close to my parents' house. And I really liked it. I didn't really know what I was going to do with it, but I thought I'm gonna buy that. I think it's really cute. So it's just, you know, this old style little crochet collar. It's with a little, I loved the little button, pearl iridescent button, and it's so simple. And then, so when I was playing around with the t-shirt, I really like this knit. Unfortunately, this knit I got at the local market here, and it was just like a 1.5 yard piece. And so I don't have resources to share for this cool knit, but it's like just a houndstooth, which I thought was so cool. But so unfortunately, I can't share that. But these little collars, I looked on Etsy and eBay. So if you search vintage crochet collars, you'll find a ton for, you know, under $20. So I just thought it was such a fun little addition to my t-shirt, and kind of gives it a little bit of something. But I can also wear, like I wore the t-shirt this weekend with black leggings and sneakers without the collar, and it was really casual. I just think the collar makes the look so much more versatile. The other thing I want to show you having to do with collars is I recently sewed up, this is my Baxter shirt pattern. It's an oversized button-up shirt with this cool detail in the back that does the buttons at the yoke. So it's kind of a 80s style, I would say. I really love this shirt. It's so comfortable and so easy just to throw on with jeans or with little jean shorts. You know, it's still pretty hot here. But what I did was I used a napkin that my mom had given me, a vintage little embroidered napkin. I want to say, I think it was 15 inches in 15 inches square. And so I was able to use the embroidered corner on one and just did the whole collar in one piece. And I did not interface the collar. I did interface the band, but I absolutely love how it turned out. And it was the perfect length of the napkin for my collar. I was thinking if it was too short or too long, what I was planning to do was just add a seam here at the back and either take it in or add just like a strip to make it a little bit longer. But I didn't even have to do that. So that worked out really well. But I just thought this was such a fun idea. You know, two different kind of collar options that are something different to do with our sewing projects. So I wanted to share. So on to the quilts. So first thing I'll show you is the quilt that I made. I've been wanting to do a Christmas quilt for quite some time. And so my mom has a long arm quilting machine. And she of course has all the fun quilting gadgets and fabrics and everything. So usually when I go visit them, I do end up making a quilt, and I've made some really cool, fun, pretty quilts along the way. And every time I'm like, oh, I really want to make a Christmas quilt. But there's always something else that's, you know, more I don't know. I always end up making something else. This time I was like, I really want a Christmas quilt to cuddle up with this Christmas. So I ended up choosing this pattern. This is the Emmy pattern by Brenda Riddle Designs. I will drop her link in the description box for the pattern. It's a PDF pattern, and I really am so happy with the way it turned out. I think that so I used 3 different fabrics. One, obviously, this darker snowflake, the check, and then this one is actually just a green that had Christmas trees on the background, and then it kind of has the blue for its sky, and it has little stars on top of the trees. So what ended up happening, because the fabric had different color moments in it, it kind of gives the quilt a little bit of a sparkle in those green areas, which I thought turned out so fun. So then for the backing, I am a huge flannel lover. If I am going to snuggle up with a quilt, I love, 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 love flannel on the background. On the back, it just makes it so soft and cuddly. So I found this flannel at Holly Lobby, and I'm really happy with it. It kind of pulled in the green, still nice and soft with more of a white background. I was looking at other options like a red check and different things like that, but they were all too heavy for the quilt. So with the white background of the quilt, this just kind of worked. It just kind of worked. And then I did the green. Here you can kind of see like the trees. I did the green for the trim, which also worked out really well. And then we did a quilt pattern that is, it's kind of hard to see. Oh, here, you can kind of see the holly. So we did holly with these like little, kind of like snow spirals, I think. And I am really, really happy with the way it turned out. I learned a lot with this one. This was definitely the most complicated quilt I've ever done. Each block here, believe it or not, has 72 pieces. 72. So it just felt like I kept making more blocks and more blocks and more blocks. And I did, the pattern is square, so I had to add a row because I wanted it to be like a cuddle quilt. So I wanted it to be longer. So I kept making more blocks and cutting more and making more. And it just kind of felt like a never ending process because it was the most complex quilt I've ever done. But well worth it. I love the detail. Some of my points, I didn't get them. I kind of had to cut off a couple of the points. But overall, super happy with the way it turned out. Okay, so now on to what I think is the most fun, and these are the vintage quilts that I stuffed my luggage with on the way home from my parents' house. So my mom has, obviously loves quilts as well, and she was kind enough to share a couple of really special quilts with me. So I did bring home a couple because I'm in the process of finishing decorating my apartment. I have, my bedroom is like half done. I did painted it, did like some of the furniture pieces, but there's still a chair I need to redo. I bought a headboard that I want to paint. And so there's just a couple little details that I'm ready to finish. And also in my living room here, just a couple things that I want to just kind of check off the list so I can really feel like I have my house decorated, and it is just important to me. So, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring home a couple of these quilts is because I'd love to do my bed with all vintage quilts. So, the first one I don't think I'm going to use in my own bedroom yet, or maybe not at all, because the colors are not quite what I want. But how beautiful is this one? So it's a double wedding ring. It's all hand stitched. Look at those beautiful stitches and all these different fabrics that went into it. Just a beauty. I'll open it out too so you can kind of see it big. Look at how pretty she is. Oh my goodness, so pretty. With the scalloped edges as well. This really pretty green for the binding, and then just a normal muslin on the back. definitely a feed sack. So probably, what do we think? Probably from the 40s, I think. So this one isn't quite the right colors at this point for my bedroom, but maybe for guest bed, the sofa, something. I mean, this one is just, it's just such a classic. I absolutely love it. Maybe someday in the future for a guest room or something like that. So the next two quilts I want to show you, I'm actually thinking that I'm going to layer them together on my bed. And these are going to be the quilts of the bed. So the first one is kind of the base layer. And it was actually a quilt top that my mom had. And it's all hand pieced, but it was just the quilt top. And so I said, oh, I love that. I love that. And so we actually were able to, we chose a backing, and then my mom actually quilted it on her long arm. And so we finished it. So that is really, really nice. Like someone made the whole quilt and now it's finished. So you can see I fell in love with the green. It's such a unique green that literally can never find this color nowadays. And she used 3 different colorways of the same little floral print. Isn't that adorable? So I really, really loved this one as, just like a base because of the beautiful green. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? And it just a nice border along the edges. So this one is going to be like the base, the under. And then I'm so excited to show you this one because I am in love with it. It is just a beauty. Probably if you've watched my channel, how much I do love pink. Pink is definitely a color I would say that I like. And so this one just kind of fit the bill. I'm trying to find the corner here. So check out the border first. Purple, pink, and then these cool little circles. And then we have the Dresden plate, right? May have to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think this is a Dresden plate, but I can't remember how many fabrics my mom and I were trying to calculate. I think there's over 100 different fabrics, and they're of course, like the beautiful feed sack little prints. I could look at this quilt forever and ever and ever and just study all those beautiful different prints, and each one with its beautiful little purple circle, and then the circles, at each corner, each block corner. Just feminine, beautiful, happy. I think it's a really happy quilt with the pink and the purple, and all the beautiful different prints. Like this one, little roses, the purple. They're all so unique. This orange, super vibrant. It's just, it is such a treasure. And so I'll pop a video over so you can see how I've layered them on my bed. So I did the green as the bottom and then put the pink floral over. And so I think that's how I'm gonna do it. I do have some vintage pillowcases and also sheets with embroideries and lace on them. So I'll at some point make the bed up. And then I do have a headboard that I recently bought, and I decided I'm going to paint it. So I'm either going to do white or I'm going to do a green. I'm kind of leaning towards the green, but I'm not totally sure. But I want to do the pretty headboard, and I might change the paint on I have right now like a pink arch. And I kind of feel like the arches are a little bit out of style. And it doesn't really mean that much to me. So I might actually change the paint in there as well. But the quilts are really like the heart of the space, I think. And I just love the way they're coming together. So, so yeah, that's the quilt update that I have. Do you love them? I just love them. I think the vintage quilts just have so much history built in. Obviously, this one was all hand pieced and hand quilted. The same, just basic muslin on the back, but just beautiful, beautiful work, and survived the test of time so far. So really, really So happy to have them and get to decorate with them. So I think that is all for me. I know Owen is around here somewhere. I'm sure that he would have liked to say hello, but I think he must be somewhere taking a nap. Yeah, I have a lot of new video ideas, so I hopefully you'll see me very, very soon. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and for checking out my little finds and ideas and things. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.